Today is October 12th. We're back here in Ottawa. I'm in the sim. I've got to go do my IFR test flight on October 14th. So I've only got 2 days left. I need some time to practice up. Figured I would leverage the home simulator and show you guys how it is I use the home simulator to help me in my real world flying. So in the real world, we don't have the opportunity to press pause and stop it. So it's nice to spend the extra time leveraging the procedures and figuring out how it's best to do the flight. So this video is a little long. I hope you guys understand. I wanted to keep as much context as I could. The stress leading up to this was pretty substantial, and I hope you can understand why it is I think the simulator is so helpful in the training sessions and making sure that we practice and get that muscle memory. So anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments. Here we are on the ground in lovely Ottawa. What we want to do today, basically going to be practicing a flight that I need to do for my IFR test. This is similar type flights that I've flown with my instructor to practice all the things that are required for the flight test. We are located nicely here on runway 32. All right, well, with that, I'm going to get the plane fired up so that we can get flying. All right, let's go ahead and get the fuel pump on. Parking brake is set. And we want to inject a little bit of fuel. Turn off fuel pump and clear prop. All right, here we are. Let's get our avionics master on. Pitot heat on. And landing lights, nav light, beacon, and panel lights. All right, so GPSs are all up and running, and we have our information. So normally, I would go into split screen mode, and I'd come down and I would use my checklist. So checklist for the plane, and it's great. So you've got text to speech.
Arrow.
So we're gonna go ahead and
Gear handle.
gear handles down.
Free.
Controls are free and correct. And of course, if we looked outside, free and correct, there is our lovely
Emergency equipment. Check.
emergency
Gear
equipment.
extension wrench.
It would be in the
Available.
left. Gear extension wrench would be in the left-hand
Magnetos.
side.
Off.
Magnetos.
Circuit. Electrical.
Circuit
Alt
red.
and back.
Alt battery
Fuel
masters.
plug
Fuel
flash.
quantity check.
Alt and back. Exterior and oil QTY. Tire pressure. Nose mains.
So it's nice you can build all
Pre-flight
of your own
inspection. Complete.
checklists for the planes that you fly, and you can bring them in.
Tie downs and baggage. Packs. Seats and seat belt. Brakes. Electrical equipment and gear select. Emergency gear handle.
We did
Fuel select.
all of this.
Electric trim. Autopilot. Fuel timer. Start timer and right time of throttle.
All right.
Fast idle.
So
mixture.
skip the
Throttle.
starts. All right. So
1,000 to
after
1,200
start,
revolutions per minute.
we want to throttle up to 1,000 RPM. So 1,000 RPM, close enough.
Oil pressure. Green within 30 seconds.
So oil pressure is, temps and pressures are in the green.
Ammeter. Charging.
Ammeter would be charging.
Lights. As required.
Lights as required.
Flaps. Up.
Flaps are in the up position. Yes.
Avionics and PFD. On and set.
Avionics and PFD, those are on and set.
Brakes. Check.
Brake check.
Gyros. Taxi check.
So we do
Brakes.
that on the taxi.
Set.
So to do a run up, we would set our
Doors,
brakes,
seats
do
and
our
valve,
doors,
flight control,
flight controls,
engine
avionics,
flight
engine instruments, flight
emitter,
instruments, and
L
meter.
trim, throttle,
We're not going to actually do
vacuum,
it.
propeller, cycle drop of 300,
At this moment,
mixture, lean mixture
we know
and
that
fuel
it
flow check,
will be good.
throttle, trim, flaps, set 15 degrees. Door and window, closed,
Door and windows are
Brakes.
closed.
off,
Brakes would be off.
avionics and GPS.
All right, so avionics and
set.
GPS. So this would be our next step. So unfortunately, I don't have a 750. I've got a 480, which is similar to a 530, but not similar enough. And it's actually missing things. So I'm going to use the 750 just because I can, because it's nice. But let's 121, 15.
Ottawa Airport Information Uniform 2028 Zulu. Wind 234 at 6. Visibility 15. Sky condition.
Alright, so avionics and GPS, we now have the direction, the weather, though really we could make it IFR weather, it won't matter for the sake of this test. Alright, so avionics. So next up what we need to do is we need to enter our flight plan. So we are going to go to CYRP and we're going to add a waypoint of YOW, and then we're going to add a waypoint of ESRUV. We want to be 4,500, and then ESRUV, we'll do ESRUV at 3,000 feet. Good enough. Alright. So that'd be our flight plan. Now, the one thing we are going to do, though, is when we get to YOW, we're going to do a hold. And so we're going to do a hold 180. So that's a north hold. Perfect. It'll be the inbound on the 180 radial. It'll be right-hand turns, and each leg time will be 1 minute. So we're going to go ahead and load that hold. So this is perfect. This is kind of the thing that we would be getting into. All right, so our avionics and GPS is set. We can go ahead and we can enable we are GPS mode. So we want this, and we would be getting up to 4,500. I'm gonna go ahead. Flight director is on, and trying to simulate the Century 3, so I am not going to.
Trim. Set.
Actually, to be honest, I should have a flight director. Ah, it'll automatically turn the flight director on, though. That's right. That's what it does. Alright, so heading bug of 250. Oh, that's the course. I hate that it does that. FIP gauges, they're backwards. Alright. Of course, I could just use my heading there, but whatever. Alright, so odd dampener needs to come off. Alright, flaps are set, trim is set.
Flaps. Fuel boost pump.
Boost pump
Landing
is off,
light.
landing light is on,
Transponder. No
transponder
time
is
off
an
GND.
alternate.
Write down time of day.
So altitude reporting and 6607, usually one of the ones we get. All right.
ETA to first checkpoint. No
So,
ETA on log.
power is set. Release the brakes. Airspeed's alive, gauges are green. And rotate. Positive rate. So we get our gear up. And flaps can go up. Through 900. Going back to 2500 on the RPM. And 2500. There. Alright, so flying runway heading. And now at this point, we would get our right-hand turn. And we'll get our right-hand turn out. To the VOR. Okay, everything is at instruments. 2000, climbing 4500. Three, 322 roughly. So, and our RMI. Alright, so at this point, we could go into heading mode and go ahead and arm the autopilot, which is fine. So, staying on instruments, climbing with way more power than the Sierra has, but that's okay. Go ahead and adjust our heading just a little bit. Alright, keep climbing. First checkpoint is good, so takeoff.
Takeoff mixture.
Mixture propeller.
Throttle, rotate. Climb beat. Climb rate cost. Climb stable. Flaps retract.
So those are good. So
Cruise
climb,
power.
cruise climb,
Mixture. Engine instruments.
and instrument
Check.
checked.
Power.
So we
55%
are
minus
in the cruise
75%.
climb.
65 normal 24 revolutions per minute with 21 MP.
And load the flight plan, which I should have loaded. Alright, so there we go. Climbing up nicely. So there we are. Rolling the nose over. And altitude mode. There we are. Alright, so now we are monitoring speed and power. Fuel flow and EGT. Alright, so now that we have captured our GPS track, we will enable GPS steering mode. GPS steering mode will take us to the VOR. Alright, so as we look in, we can see our track. And our entry at this 315 is actually really good. At 45 degrees to 315, and you have 360, or basically 180 for the inbound. So it's already giving us our perfect 45 degree angle going in, which is really nice. So we're just gonna sit here on our track and wait for the hold to active. So hold, teardrop, we call that offset in Canada, but the GPSs still call it teardrop. So that's the fly through, catch the outbound, turn back in. Auto terminal, Beach Sierra, Golf Mike, Tango Tango, entering the hold. Okay, so we are now entering the hold. We are in hold mode. At this point, we can bring that power way back. No need to be blasting around a hold at super high power. So let the speed bleed off. Okay, so monitoring the systems. Guess I could. Alright, some rain. I guess this is what it would have been earlier had I gone up, but oh well. We'll just leave this be. Right, so we are now entering the hold, so we're now coming around and we are on our hold. We're at 4,500. Going up and down a little bit with the winds and the weather, which is good. Still really going fast. And there's that little bit of a balloon that can happen. I've had that happen, which is great. It gets back on the course, calculating the winds. All right, so we're maintaining altitude. So with that, cruise,
Trim
set, mixture, fuel
landing
timer,
light,
landing
on.
light could go off, but we'll leave it
Altimeters,
on.
set.
So I'm not worried about the descent at this moment. All right, so procedures at CYOW, at CYRP. So we want to do the GNS runway 10. Now, this isn't. This is a simulated one. We are going to be going around, so it is intentional anyway, to be basically flying the wrong one. All right, so ATIS is on 121.15. We'd be talking to terminal 128.17 because that would be the arrival, but we'd be staying with the current terminal. Unicom is on 122.8. So in our second radio, let's go ahead and get 122.8 set up. Perfect. So we'll put 122.8 in there. And 122.7 I'm going to leave because that is arm prior. So I'll keep that in the secondary there. So here, 127.7 is what we would be on. And 123.35 is what's going to be next. And the reason for this is doing the hold at 4,500. I am up with terminal, obviously, and then when we will go down, we'll be and auto terminal Gulf Mike Tango established in the hold. So I missed my established in the hold call. This is faster. So we're holding 1 minute holds, and the autopilot is obviously doing that perfectly for us. So next up is we will be going to ESRUV. I already put ESRUV in because I knew that would be the starting point for the procedure. So right now we are currently in suspend mode because we're circling and doing our hold. So we're Unicom 122.8. That's ready in the number 2 radio. And if we wanted to, we could also monitor number 2 right now. So, safe altitude, 6,100 feet in our 100 nautical mile. This is an RNAV approach. The approach course will be 97 degrees. Minimum altitude at Otiru is 1,500 feet, and our landing area is 3,936. So that's our landing length of our runway. All right, so we have 2,900 in our 25-mile quadrants. We have ESRUV, which not below 2,000 at ESRUV, and that will be our initial approach fix. And we want to be below 210 knots, which of course won't be an issue for us. So not below 2,000 feet from Ikak to Otiru. Where just prior to Otiru, we are going to pick up the RNAV. So this will be an LPV. We will get the L plus V. At Otiru, we want to be at our final approach waypoint at 1,800 feet. That's our cross check. And following our 3-degree glide path on the 97-degree heading, or track, sorry, down to our MDA. So our MDA is 900 feet, and we will fly the MDA at 900 feet until the missed approach point, at which point we will go missed and we will climb out to the missed approach, which is a circling left-hand turn to 3,000, and you go direct to ESRUV and hold. Any questions? No? Okay, good. We have our georeference on the plate, which is nice. So, all right. At this point, call up YLW, inform them that we will be leaving the hold and going over to do a simulated GNS 10 into CARP. They would tell us to monitor practice frequency, and at which point we would also tell them that we would be descending down to 3,000 feet and switching to practice area traffic. Okay, so we're going to switch over to practice area traffic, and we're going to go down to 3,500 feet. And we want to go direct to ESRUV, and we're going to hit direct. So now we will go to our ESRUV point. So, plane flying that path. I'm going to descend at 1,500 feet. And at this point, we can go home, go to procedures. Ooh. We don't need an arrival procedure. I didn't do a departure. I should have done the departure, but whatever. Approach, we're going to do the RNAV 10 GPS. Transition is going to be ESRUV. And we want to load the approach. So the approach is loaded. So we're going to come up here. We are on our way to ESRUV, and at this point, we are .5 miles. And it actually loaded the plate for us automatically. So there we go. We've got our chart automatically loaded on the GNS. That's pretty cool. Or GTN, sorry. GNS doesn't load that. Now on the Aspen, I normally have a little thing that tells me how much to ESRUV. But, alright. So, we would have talked to practice area traffic. Golf Mike Tango Tango is headed to Kinburn area to start the simulated RNAV in the runway 10 in CARP. Alright, so now let's go over to CARP. CARP traffic, Golf Mike Tango Tango is about 5 minutes out from starting the RNAV 10 approach, starting from ESRUV. For VFR traffic, ESRUV is Kinburn. Alright, so made our calls, informed them that we would be starting soon and that we would be commencing our RNAV approach. Alright, so we know we can be at 2,000 at ESRUV. So we're going to go down to 3,000 because since this is an LPV approach, we will get the glide slope infinite distance at the 3-degree angle. So we're going to go ahead, and at this point we want to go to our procedure, we want to go to our approach, and we want to load and activate the approach. So now we're going to SRUV. It's suggesting 3,100 feet. Now it's saying 3,000, so that's our VNAV calc. Okay, so we're 5.2 nautical miles from SRUV. Carb traffic, Golf Mike Tango Tango. We are 5 miles from SRUV. We'll be starting the RNAV simulated approach into runway 10, and we will be breaking it off and going missed. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing, we hope. Alright, so I'm going to pluck the chart away since I don't have that feature. And I nicely have them on my iPad anyway. Alright, left-hand turn to 186. So even though we're following the track and the course, I just like to dial it in myself. This one's a little bit faster. We'll aim for, I guess, 110.
Vertical track.
That would be a vertical track. Okay. All right. Top of descent is in 1 minute. Carb traffic, Golf Mike Tango Tango is at SRUV, which is Kinburn, starting the RNAV GPS 10 approach now. Estimated time to the field, 5 minutes. All right. So it's probably more like 10, but whatever. Yep, 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so since we... So, ICAC, we will start our descent. Actually, no, we won't. We're going to stay where we are. Stay at 2900. Stay where we are because we can pick up the vertical glide earlier. And then left to 096, so go ahead and set up the heading bug for 096. Alright. And minimums 900 feet. Oh, yeah. It'd be great to dial in a minimums.
Vertical track.
So LNAV plus V is alive. And I have my diamond, and it is starting to come in. Let's go ahead and get our approach flaps in. We have our 1 dot. So gears going down. Now, we don't have the ability to couple there we go. We don't have the ability with the Century 3 to couple an LPV approach. So an LNAV plus V or an LPV can't couple those. You can only couple an ILS on the Century 3, an actual ILS. So we won't simulate that. Totally legal to do one approach with the autopilot. So we're going to do that. Carp traffic, Golf Mike Tango Tango is approaching the final approach fix at Oturu. 4 miles, final, runway 10. There's our 110. There's our speed. Pitch for speed. Stay on that glide. $700 feet to go. All right, so 3 green, no red. Landing light is on. Stable approach. Continue. Okay, so now we'll be crossing Egstu. So this is roughly where we should be approaching our MDA. So we're getting a little off because I'm unfocused. 200 to go, 100 to go. Do not deviate, but do not bust the floor. And MDA, there we are. $900 feet. We would not have the runway in sight, so we would continue along. Shit, and I just blew it. I just blew through it by not looking. There you go. Stay at 900. 900 feet. Flyer at 900 feet. Arriving. And activate missed approach. Power props go full. And it is a climbing right-hand turn. Okay, we're through 1300. Lower stress the engine back to 25. And pull our prop back to 25. Let's also switch our tank. All right. So, hold at Ezrov on the 186 radial. And we can see Ezrov and the hold 1 minute turns is up next. And I totally forgot to clean up my gear and clean up my flaps. Wow. That was horrible. That's what happens when you can't feel it in your butt. Autopilot is activated. We'd be going to the hold. At this point, it's probably going to 127.7, so we're going to switch back over to 127.7 and we're going to head in. So now I guess with this you don't enter an alternate like you do the 490. So we are going to go to CYOW, and we're going to do a direct to activate. All right.
Failed approach, November 90, 92, Tango, 8 miles east of Charlie, November Papa 3. Request IFR to Ottawa, ready to copy. November 90, 92, Tango is cleared to Ottawa Airport as filed. Squawk 0562. November 90, 92, Tango, cleared to Ottawa Airport as filed. Squawk 0562. 92 Tango, read that correct. Radar contact 2,900. Altimeter 29990. Turn right heading 140. Climb and maintain 3,000. 92 Tango, you are 21 miles west. Turn left heading 325. Climb and maintain 3,000. Expect vectors. Visual runway 14 approach. 92 Tango, turn left heading 0905. Climb and maintain 3,000. Turn left heading 0905. Climb and maintain 3,000. Expect vectors. Visual runway 14. Approach 92 Tango.
Let's try the ILS 07. And we YOW transition. Let's go vectors to final. So let's go with a 1.
902 Tango, would like ILS, runway 7, approach vectors to final. 902 Tango, you are 16 miles west, turn right heading 220, expect vectors, ILS, runway 7, approach, circle to land, runway 14. 902 Tango, turn right heading 245. Turn right heading 245. Expect vectors ILS, runway 7, approach, circle to land, runway 14, 902 Tango.
So now let's go procedure, approach. Approach is going to be ILS 07. And we are doing vectors to final, load and activate approach. All right. So, ATIS 121.5, we already picked it up.
902 Tango, turn left heading 205. left heading 205, Niner 2 Tango.
All right. Safe altitude, towers on 118.8. Nope. Localizer course is going to be 109.5. Approach course is going to be 071. So localizer's on 109.5. So we're going to go ahead and put 109.5 in. All right. And GP Mobi is 1700. And so that's our glide path point, and our LDA is 8,000 feet. Localizer is 109.5. And we're going to ident that.
Niner 2 Tango, turn left heading 160. Turn left heading 160, Niner 2 Tango.
All right, so 3-2. So we are going to not below 3,000 until established on the localizer, and then follow that down. Our missed approach is to climb 3,000 direct to the OW NDB. As required, do a shuttle climb. Okay, so it's 3,000 at that point. And our ILS DME is going to be 573. So our minimums is 573 feet. All right, do you have any questions? No, yes, no, good. All right, so our course 070 is dialed in. At this point, we're no longer using GPS. We probably should switch over to our CDI, and that will give us our V-lock. Perfect. Because we're going to switch over to the localizer. And 070, 071 is our course. All right, so at this point, he's probably said he's had enough of me hand flying this. Sorry, not hand flying it. So we are going to hand fly this. Fly that 160 heading.
Niner 2 Tango, you are 14 miles southwest. Turn left heading 105, descend and maintain 2,500. Cleared ILS, runway 7, approach. Maintain 2,500 until established on the localizer. Contact Ottawa Tower on 118.8. Turn left to heading 105. Descend and maintain 2,500. Cleared ILS. Runway 7. Approach. Maintain 2,500 until established. Tower on 118.8. Niner 2 Tango.
We're descending to 2,500 as instructed. We've switched over our OBS. There's our 2,500. Watching our CDI. Okay, and glide slope is alive. Gear goes down. And lights, flaps, everything is set. Approach mode is armed, and missed approach is 3,000. Okay.
Niner 2 Tango. Cleared to land. Runway 14. Cleared to land. Runway 14. Niner 2 Tango.
Okay, small track deviations. Here you are. To 1,800. Deviations. Get back on. On glide slope. And approach flaps are coming in. Small corrections. Small corrections. There you go. There it is. $500 to go. Stable approach. Small corrections. Small corrections. It's not that far out. Oh. Don't let it deflect anymore. 90, holding it on. 200 to go. Just like that. Hold that dot. Hold that dot. Hold that dot. Hold that dot. 200 to go. There you are. Both purples are good. As you do in real life. Alright, so. And there it is. So we're going to go around. Alright. Activate missed approach. And then we would go back into VOR lock mode. And altitude armed 3000. Alright, so we would climb out and do our, nice. Alright, well, let's just go land instead with our approved landing.
Mixture. Propeller. Magnetus. Landing light. Autopilot. Off. Approach. Briefed autopilot. Seat. Fuel cell. Mixture. Propeller. Landing. Landing. Flaps. Trim. Gumps check. Gas. Under. Throttle. Pull forward.
Alright.
Niner 2 Tango, exit runway when able.
Alright, we're going to exit runway when able.
Landing and taxi light.
After landing, taxi
on.
light. So, landing light comes off, taxi light goes on.
Up.
Flaps are up.
Trim. Reset.
Trim is reset. Let's get our pitch trim reset. Sure. Whatever. There we go.
Radio. Contact GND or MFU. Mark time down. No time of day.
Okay.
Brakes. Set.
So, go ahead and,
Ottawa ground, November 90-92 Tango. Taxi to parking.
so let's go to our checklist. Shutdown.
L check.
Brakes are set.
121.5.
And, nope, didn't break anything.
PFD. Avionics. Lights. Off. Record time off. Hops and touch time.
Our lights are off. So, mag check. And everything goes off.
Mags check. Throttle. Mixture. Cutoff. Magneto start. Battery and alt. Control lock. Wheel chocks.
And wheel
Brakes.
chocks and
Close
brakes.
flight. Complete. Close flight plan.
Close flight plan.
Call FIC FSS if not closed with ground or tower.
There you go. Alright, completed. So that's just a little bit about how I like to use the simulator, as well as the Flight Plan Go to work as the electronic flight bag, how I would in a real flight. Now normally it's mounted on the yoke, I have it mounted off to the side in the simulator, but it works exactly how we do. Yeah, so if there's something similar somebody wants me to do, let me know. I'm thinking about doing a couple more of these types of videos about how it is that I use the simulator to better help with my real world flying, to improve as well as make sure it's safe and enjoyable. Thanks for watching.